Good morning, everyone. Namaste. I'm going to call in Archangel Michael to cleanse this space, to clear out all negative and lower vibrations from our mind, body, and soul, home, and hearts, placing the white light of protection on us with this blue seal. And we're going to be reading more, guys, out of Don't Believe Everything That You Think. It says, why your thinking is your beginning and end to suffering. I 100% concur on that statement as somebody who has overcome PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So we still are in chapter 1, the journey to discovering the root causes of suffering. And it states, as I begin my journey of self-improvement, I came across many different teachings, studies, and methods to help people to overcome their problems. I read dozens, if not hundreds of books, studied psychology, went to therapists, listened to many different thought leaders, tried changing my habits, waking up at 4 a.m., changing my diet, becoming more structured and disciplined, shadow work, studying personality types, meditating groups, going on spiritual retreats, following spiritual masters, and researching different ancient religions. If you name it, I probably tried it. I was desperate to find an answer because I want to know how to stop suffering in my own life and help others to do the same. Although some of these things did help me to improve, and criminality didn't stop my suffering. I always felt highly anxious, fearful, unfulfilled, irritated, angry, and frustrated every day. Even after doing all of that, I still didn't discover the answer, and if I'm being honest, I was even more lost than before I even started this quest. I felt purposeless, hopeless, and directionless. I didn't know what to do anymore, where to look, or who to talk to. It wasn't until I looked into my darkest hour that a glimmer of hope began to lead me into the light. All of a sudden, after years and years of searching, I stumbled upon one of my first mentors who revealed the answer to how I could alleviate my suffering. The answer discovered was understanding how our mind works and how the human experience is created. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I mean, I can tell you how I also overcame it in a brief synopsis. If you don't know, I've already said it multiple times, but it started off by, I went to therapy for like 10, 15 years. That's how bad my trauma was. And I also interviewed children for child abuse for 5 years, and I was on the human trafficking team. So that really brought up a lot for me and negatively impacted me, and I carried it because I'm an empath, and I carried the burdens of the children with me to the point where it almost drove me to insanity. So I started seeing a counselor as a result, but the counselors couldn't handle my caseload. They couldn't handle what I was personally dealing with due to the fact that it was too traumatizing for the counselor. Counselors weren't prepared to listen to me talking about things that at work I was dealing with, and that is what I needed ultimately, that they could not provide. And I seen multiple different counselors, but so I started getting acupuncture, and acupuncture really started to help for depression and anxiety and PTSD. It really started to mellow me out. But what I noticed with acupuncture, it only lasted 6 months. And my insurance didn't cover it. Some insurances do cover it. But it only lasted 6 months. So I was going at that point around every 6 months. And then after that, COVID hit, and I had left my job and went back to banking. And it was a nightmare working in banking during COVID. And I had gotten COVID several different times during that period of time. So I started getting Reiki, and then Reiki is what really helped me to heal me. But it was an ongoing process because I had to then I was able to balance myself out to where I was forced to then deal with the problems that I was meant to deal with all along, and heal them ultimately. And I did that by going inward and working with God and my team of light. I just surrendered the process to them. I started grounding every day. I started getting out in nature, and all those things combined resulted in that. And I continually keep doing those things. So I don't know if it's necessarily that I'm healed myself or that I'm always on an ongoing healing of it. But either way, I don't deal with the anxiety and the depression like I used to, or the panic attacks or anything like that. So I hope that helps. I love you all. Have a blessed day, and namaste.